And welcome everybody to the Pittsburgh Health Hub podcast. I am Jon Fisher, along with our special guest, all the way from Alabama, yes, down south, Joe Burgett. Joe Burgett, hello, sir.
How's it going? Yes, I am Joe Burgett. I believe that that's a pretty big deal for everybody. You're welcome. Congratulations. How do you feel?
I'm doing well. So today we're going to talk about digestion and the digestive system specifically. Now, I know you have experience. Now, very briefly, talk to me about why you think you're an expert on this topic. I know you've dealt with it in the past. You've been a patient for a lot of your life, so I feel like that's why you're so able to talk about something like this.
Well, yeah, it's not just that, too. It's just, my expertise in public health, things like that, but I've studied for a long time. That's an additional help aid, I think.
All right, so here's what I decided. We're going to do the top 5 foods for digestive excellence. And you have not given me the list. It's going to be all spontaneous. It's going to be great. So let's start off with number 5. Joe, your top 5 foods for digestive excellence, if I could talk today. Number 5, what do you got?
Well, number 5, you want to use beans of any kind. Usually the reason why is that they're helpful with digestion is because the main reason your body needs to have a movement, if you will, is because you have to have these abilities to get your body moving on a regular basis. If you can't do that, the things stuck inside you in your intestines, things like that have to come out, if you will. Mm-hmm. Beans are a very helpful thing in helping that happen. But not only that, too, they digest very easily on you. So as long as you don't do an overkill on them, they're very helpful in moving your digestive system along. That's kind of their main reason as to why they're helpful.
And real quick, I know that you and I have seen a lot of the scares that any digestive failure of any kind could cause on the human body. Gastroenteritis is just one of the many.
Well, yeah, when you're having problems with movements, you're basically stopping yourself from having a proper move out. So what'll happen is you get blocked up, and any sort of poison that's trying to come out of your intestines and even out of your urinary tract, typically if that stuff gets stuck in there, it can get infected, which it can result in colitis. It can result in even having the diverticulitis, things like that. They're very, very difficult to go through. A lot of athletes have gone through similar things. Brock Lesnar going through 2 bouts of diverticulitis because it wouldn't move. And when you have those problems without movement, there is an issue with trying to get rid of infection. And sometimes you have to get part of your intestines removed because of the fact that they're no longer working properly. So proper digestive health and movement alone are a massive help to the human body.
All right, so let's move on to number 4.
Well, number 4, I would go with mostly seafoods. You can talk about seafoods all the time, but most of the time when it comes to seafoods, they're easily digestible. Most of them are lean, so you can move them out of your body easier. They also digest very easily, so scallops, shrimp, fish.
What about crab and lobster, like those, like the special seafoods?
Crab and lobster the same way. Now, I don't recommend going out and grabbing lobster or things like that because they're kind of expensive. But if you can find a good deal on lobster, it can be very helpful to your body, only because the proteins, things like that come through all these foods are pretty good.
Yeah.
And so your body's taking in a good amount of protein, along with the fact that you can have that take place of a higher end group of foods such as red meat and pork, and still the same amount of protein coming out of it that you need in your body, but you can also have the things it brings to the table is also very good for you. Now, with shrimp, you have to be very careful because of the iodine, but don't eat it all the time. Like I wouldn't eat it like every day because that'll help. It'll also be a problem when it comes to your urinary tract area. But as long as you have it sparingly, you should be good.
So number 5 were any kind of beans. Number 4, any kind of seafood. What about number 3?
Number 3, I would go with fruits. The main reason why fruits are helpful is when you have a fruit in your body, it's the same thing as the beans would do. You're moving part of your body through to a point where you're having easily digestible things in your body. There's other fruits like bananas that don't digest as easily, but they're a helpful aid in moving once they're at your stomach acid. So once they get past the point and get to your intestines, they might move a little slower, but they at least get through properly and they get the right channels. So they might be tougher, but they're at least on your body somewhat easier than, say, a higher end food group.
Well, no, just a quick sidebar. I know, like, that's the reason why I'm on the diet that I'm on right now. Meat is not as easily, well, like, let's say red meat, for example, is not easily digested as it would fruits or vegetables, beans, whole grains, anything that's not natural. But people aren't getting that concept. They think that it tastes good, you should eat it. Well, yeah, that's all great and well, but if you're going to do any meats of any kind, you want to stick with the lean turkeys, the lean grilled chickens, deer steak.
Right. And we'll talk about this later on with the number 1 and 2, but when you're basically going through your body and what you can actually take in, your body has to fight a lot harder to get meat through versus things like vegetables and things like fruits. So when your fruits go in, your body's not working very hard because it digests easily, and it still gives you what you need. However, the proteins out of these foods are pretty much no-go. So you need to have other things besides fruits, but they're very good to have for a snack. They're very good to have for a dessert even. You can have a good thing with fruits all the time. So things like cherries are very good and tasty, so they're very good for you to have. So there's a lot of things you can have in your body that are very good when it comes to fruits. You don't have to always stick with, having an apple a day.
Which, of course, it helps, but, like I said, you don't want to live on that. Like today, for example, I ate, those Uncle Ben's microwavable rice. I had an entire, that whole thing of the whole grain brown rice. It was delicious, and I loved it. Very good for you, too.
Yeah, they're very good. I mean, rice in its own right is very good, but whole grain stuff is always very good for you.
So, all right, we got through fruits. Now what's number 2?
Number 2, vegetables. Clearly, vegetables are fantastic for your body. A lot of people believe they can be vegetarians. The reason why vegetarians are considered a little bit dumb, in my opinion, is because your body needs more than vegetables and fruits to survive for a long, extended period of time.
You
don't find a whole lot of older vegetarians because they don't exist.
Well, you need carbs. You need carbs to live on.
Well, the thing is, though, you don't find 80-year-old vegetarians that have been vegetarians for 80 years because your body needs more than that to survive. There's other types of vegetarians. There's 5 different types. People who don't eat certain meats have different types of ego-vegetarians, things like that. Like, for example, I might eat eggs and chicken along with mostly vegetables. But those are the only 2 things I have that as far as a meat product and thing goes.
And that's a lot of protein, too, which is necessary.
Right. But that's technically considered a vegetarian in some aspects when it comes to nutrition. So technically a person is a vegetarian in a weird concept, but they're not the full-fledged only eat vegetables and fruits kind of person. But vegetables are very good. Not only the fact is you can have things with them that your body needs, but you can mix it in with so many of the things that help you. Like if you want to have fried rice that you get from Japanese restaurants, things like that. You can basically live off of that in a point to where your body gets everything it needs. And you have that with something else, like a vegetable, like a meat, I should say, you're pretty good. Now, there's a lot of the things people think they can have with vegetables, but in my opinion, you can't be a vegetarian for too long in your life because your body essentially needs to have something to help it out.
That's absolutely correct. That's why right now I eat carbs, I eat my fruits and my vegetables, and, I call it a day, and I have my daily vitamins, and I get my protein from seafood and eggs. So sticking on that is extremely beneficial in the long run, especially for your digestive system. So we got through 5 through 2. Just to recap a little bit. Number 5 were any kinds of beans. Number 4, we had seafood. Number 3, we had fruit, 2 vegetables, and I think I know number 1, but tell me anyway.
Number 1, you go with poultry. Now that includes things like chicken and turkey. Now, I tell you this because you can live off of chicken and turkey and be very healthy. I've done it for over 10 years. It's not only does your body have an ability to digest those foods within an hour or 2, but comparing that to a meat product such as red meat and pork takes 3 or 4 hours, your body is spending less time to digest. Your body is able to do those through quicker and faster. You get everything you need from them. But on top of that, you're getting all the proteins you need in your body along with the carbs that you need to live and operate on a very good position.
Now, what sets poultry away from the red meats as far as being digested well enough, and on top of that being better for you? Like, for example, I know there's a lot of people that do the paleo diet that are some strictly meat and fruit and vegetables, no carbs, period. But you have to think about, meat can't be good for you all the time.
Well, there's certain meats you need to be very careful with. Things like steak and things like that, they're not bad for you, having a good steak here and there. But when you have high-end meats every day like that, having bacon all the time, it might taste really good. There's no problem with that. But having it too often, your body is getting too much fat. And on top of that, it's getting too much of a move on digestion not being properly used.
And all those chemicals and preservatives that are in it.
And the chemicals, too. I mean, every food seemingly has chemicals in it these days, unless you were to kill it yourself and skin it and cook it your own way. Unless you do that, typically you're going to run into that, which is why typically when I get eggs, I get them from farmers markets or I get them from people I know who have chickens.
Yep.
Because I get eggs straight from them, and I know it's not going through any processing. I know I haven't done any problem with that. They came straight from the chicken to me.
And they taste better, too, in my opinion, than the ones at the store.
They can taste a lot better. It depends on the kind of egg you get. It could be a duck egg or things like that. There's a lot of different eggs that have different tastes. If you get a regular chicken egg, there's always a risk with those because they might have something inside them, some red inside them. But typically they're better and healthier for you, which is why going to farmers markets and going to Whole Foods, places like that might have different things like that, typically is a better option, even with the expense for your body, because you're getting things without the chemicalization. So organic foods, things like that, are much better for you if you want to remove the chemicals aspect from it. But as far as, a meat being better than another meat, really when it comes to just digestion alone, the longer it takes your body to work can be a beating over it over a long period of time. So it's like we're doing an exercise. If you go to the gym and you work for an hour, you're going to get a pretty good workout. But if you go 3 hours, sometimes your body thinks you're going to have a perfect use for that. And unless you're used to going 3 hours, you can't suddenly be used to that and used to that and used to that. You might be able to build up to that, but your body's not used to it. And over time, you're going to have to slow down a little bit, where you can't do certain things you used to in the gym. You might get older, and your body needs to slow down. So The Rock might go to the gym for 5 hours, but when he gets 50, when it's 60, he can't do as long in the gym because his body can't handle that.
Absolutely
but the same
not.
thing, it works on the inside, too. So even though your body can do certain things while it's young, as you age, your body is going to break down within the inside and the out. So to keep yourself from having those problems later on the inside, being careful what you eat is a big deal currently when you're young, because it moves you from one problem you might have in the future and makes it to where you can have the same lifestyle going into your 60s to 70s.
Well, there you have it, everybody. The top 5 foods for digestive excellence. Now, from 5 to 1, we recap that once again. Beans, and go from 5 to 1. Beans, seafood, fruit, vegetables, and poultry. Now, Mr. Brigette, any final words, any tips for everyday living that people could take if they want to get healthier, lose some weight, or even just, live a better lifestyle?
Yeah, I mean, every single day you need to find something to exercise with, whether it was taking a walk down to your mailbox or around your block or going to a gym. It's always good to exercise every single day at some point in time. Give yourself a day that's just your day. Eat whichever you want in that day, but then the rest of the 6 days in the week, be very careful with what you eat. Watch exactly what you see every single day. Look at the back of the boxes before you buy something. Again, every one of them have the ingredients you need on those boxes. And always watch through the serving sizes, because each serving size is exactly what that says there. So imagine having something 5 serving sizes. It tells you the serving size on the back, but it tells you per serving, not total.
Exactly.
A lot of people mess that up. So be careful when you read those back things with the ingredients, because they want to give you serving sizes, but over a period of time, how much you eat, that can be a problem if there's 5 serving sizes inside of one thing, like potatoes, for example. So be very vigilant on how you buy foods and knowing all your serving sizes as well.
Absolutely. I cannot agree more. So, Joe, thank you so much, and we will catch you all next time on the Pittsburgh Health Hub podcast. Take care.